Hello everyone, in this week's video I'm going to be turning my 2D character into a 3D character. I have many original characters, like a ton of them. I love to draw them, but I always thought it would be really cool to see my characters in 3D. I've thought about trying 3D modeling programs, but they all seem really confusing and a bit overwhelming. But then I found this free software called VRoid. Also, this video isn't sponsored by VRoid. Anyways, VRoid is a software created by the Japanese company Pixiv. It lets you easily create 3D anime character models. Like I mentioned, I have many original characters and I've always wanted to see them in 3D. So let's try to make one of my characters in VRoid. Also, you may notice a change in my audio. I got a new microphone. So hopefully this new mic is good. The character I'm going to try to create is Doris. She's the main character of my webcomic. Her design is fairly simple, so I thought she'd be a good one to start with. I start by clicking New Avatar and then selecting which base model I want. I'm going to start by changing the eyes. On the right side of the screen, you'll notice there are a bunch of sliders. These are how I change the different parts of the character. Doris has very big round eyes, so I make the eyes a lot bigger. Also, this is my first time using the software, so I do a lot of back and forth with the different settings. Even though I adjusted her eyes, they don't look round enough yet. That is because of the eyelashes, which we change separately with a texture. To change the texture, I go to Texture and then Eyeline. One thing that's really nice is that you can draw in the texture area, but you can also draw directly on the model. This makes things a lot easier. So I changed the eyeline to help make Doris's eyes look more round instead of more pointy at the edges. I also changed the eyelashes. I make them not as winged and I add the 3 eyelashes that Doris usually has. I didn't totally know what I was doing. I just kept adjusting things until I was satisfied. Also, if you click this button, whatever you do on one side of the character will be the same on the other side. This setting saved me so much time because I don't have to worry about making the eyes match. I spent a really long time on the eyes. The eyes are a major defining characteristic of my characters, so I wanted to make them look right. After getting the shape of the eyes to how I like them, I started working on the irises. Doris has green eyes, so I paint them green. This part was pretty simple. I did have a little bit of trouble keeping everything inside of the oval. It turns out you can actually color this whole shape, and the colors will clip to that area. This does make the irises a bit larger, but you can adjust the irises to make them smaller. One thing that was a little tricky is that the iris looks a little different between here and here because of how I have the irises edited. So I had to keep looking at the model to see how what I was painting on the irises appeared on the model. The highlight is in its own area. I erased the old highlight and then add my own. For this, the mirror function didn't work, so I had to match the highlights the best I could. I add one larger highlight and then a smaller green one. Next, I edit the eyebrows just a little bit. I decided to draw directly on the character for this because it was kind of easier. And I just filled them in a little bit and made them a little darker. Now I'm adjusting the shape of her head and face. I make the top of her head a little bigger and I adjust the chin to what I think best matches my style. Now that I have the face done, I can move on to the hair. This part was kind of tricky. But before we do that, I have an exciting announcement. Arteza is working with me to do a giveaway. The winner of the giveaway will receive 100 set of Arteza Tween markers. The Tween markers are water-based, have a brush nib, and 0.4 fine tip. They are ideal for watercolor techniques and journaling. To enter the giveaway, you need to be 18 or older. If you are younger than 18, you need a parental guardian's permission to enter the giveaway. You also need to live in one of the following countries. There is a link in the description to enter the giveaway. Please use your real email when entering because this is how I will contact you if you win. Thank you so much to Arteza for doing this giveaway with me. Now let's get back to the video. I'm starting by changing the color of the hair to match Doris's color. I do this by changing the base color, the shade color, and the highlight color. After that, I go to the Design tab and add a new freehand group. Adding hair in VRoid is actually kind of simple. You basically just draw it on. I can change the setting of the hair strands that I draw with the sliders over here on the right, like how wide the strand is, where the highlight appears, or how the strand ends. One of the more complicated parts is that Doris has this bit of hair that tucks behind her ear, and then another part that goes over it. I was really confused on how to get this to look right. For the part that goes over, I actually made another freehand group, and I made this group a little further away from the skull. So it's going a little further away than the other freehand group. And that way it is able to go over the other hair strands. Also, this tool right here is your best friend when you're making the hair. It lets you change the shape of the strands by selecting different points on the strand. So usually I draw the strand kind of where I want it, and then I adjust it with this tool. This tool is very, very handy. Like I mentioned, the concept for modeling the hair in VRoid is pretty simple, but it still took me a really long time. It was hard translating my character's 2D hair design and trying to make it make sense in 3D, especially this side of her head. I was really struggling with that part. Another thing I was struggling with was the back of the head. For this, I should have used this setting. I don't know how to say it, so I'm just going to make an arrow point at it. This basically makes a large group of strands, and then you can move them around the head however you want. I actually ended up using this setting a little later to fill in the underside of her hair, but I wasn't recording that part, sorry. And oh my goodness, now that we finished the hair and the face, it's starting to look like Doris. Lastly, let's edit her body and the clothes. Like with the face, I can adjust the body with these sliders. I just kind of went down the list and changed all of the settings to how I wanted it. I overall made her proportions smaller and her head bigger. This kind of matches my drawing style. Now I try to pick her outfit. I spent a lot of time going through all the different clothing options and playing around with the settings. There aren't a ton of clothing pieces to choose from, but they are pretty customizable. I ended up going with this skirt and a short t-shirt. If you go to the texture area, you can also draw on the clothing. This gives you a lot of options to make the clothing your own, but I kept things really simple. I just changed the shirt color to blue and added some trim detail. I also changed the color of the skirt to a navy blue, and I changed the shoelaces to blue. Okay, it seems like she is done. Now let's see her in motion. If we go to the Character Exporter tab, we can see our model do different movements. I can also change her facial expression. She looks so cute when she's mad. I don't think I've ever had to draw Doris angry, but now I kind of want to. Also, I was having some issues with the body clipping through the shirt. To fix this, I just need to erase the texture for her body underneath the shirt. Okay, so let's see the finished product. So that is VRoid Studio. If you want to make 3D anime characters, I definitely recommend checking out this program. It's a lot of fun to use and totally free. Also, don't forget to enter the giveaway. The link to it is in the description. Anyways, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!